Hello everybody, welcome to Miami Dolphins Syndicate. My name is Jacob. Thank you all very much for watching today. Before we get into what we're here to talk about, let me do a quick introduction of myself, as this is the first time I will be uploading here on this channel. My name, of course, Jacob Kelly. I have another YouTube channel, JK Productions, that I'm going to link in the description below. However, I work as a sports radio director and sports commentator for my school, Florida Atlantic University, there where I cover the school. However, I have covered the Miami Dolphins on my other YouTube channel for about the last 3 or 4 years now, and we decided to join up with the Syndicate brand and expand their brand to Miami Dolphins content. So the rest of the season and hopefully beyond, we're going to be covering all things Miami Dolphins here on this channel. I will also be doing videos with my friend Donovan, who is also a big Miami Dolphins fan. Sometimes you'll see me, sometimes you'll see him. However, we're going to be putting out a bunch of Miami Dolphins content here together. And what we're here to talk about today is, can the Miami Dolphins win the AFC East? So coming to the season, we weren't quite sure what the expectations of this team should be. Tua had struggled mightily in the last 2 seasons. I've been a big Tua supporter, but even I was getting to the point where I was considering whether this team should move on. And I gotta put my hands in the air and admit, I was a big proponent for the Dolphins to go out and get Russell Wilson. That's something that is obviously not looking good, as they fell again yesterday to the Raiders in overtime. Again, not even able to put up 18 points. So I've looked really stupid with that. I've said some outlandish things saying I would say, Tua, you're going to Seattle, get in the car. Russ, get the kids, get Ciara, get in the car, we're coming to Miami. I was a huge Russell Wilson fan in this offseason for us to go out and get him. That obviously didn't happen, and quite frankly, that was the right decision. Tua, with Mike McDaniel, has blown away expectations, currently second in MVP odds in the league. Really, this man down here is why we are where we are. And whether you were skeptical, whether you're the biggest fan of him, now we're all seeing him finally put it together. We're seeing him in an offense that is built for him, that is built to win his type of football. Get the ball out of his hands, which actually, that necessarily hasn't really been what this offense has been. This offense has been a deep shot team, and that is a surprise to many, including myself. We all saw how they're going on in the offseason's house. This is going to be a yak yards after catch based team, where the Dolphins are actually last in the NFL in yards after the catch. However, number 1 in air yards. So Tua, with a lot of criticism coming into this season around his arm, around his deep ball. And yes, I understand a lot of his deep balls were underthrown, and if they were thrown just a little further ahead of the receiver, they could have been touchdowns. I get that. But it still stands true. He is number 1 in the NFL in air yards per throw, number 1 in the NFL in yards per attempt. So this offense has been on fire, has been electric, and gotten them to a 7-3 point so far in this season. Now, it starts to beg the question, are we going to win the AFC East? I want to be a little skeptical about that. I don't want to come out here and damper the mood on the very first video. However, the Buffalo Bills have an easier schedule for us going on forward. We do control our own destiny. So that is the one positive thing. If we play our games correctly, play our cards correctly, if we just win out, we will be the number 1 team in the AFC East, potentially number 1 team in the AFC. I've never gotten to see us play a home playoff football game down here in Miami. I've had season tickets now for, I believe, 7 years, and have not seen a single playoff game in the Rock in my life. I was born in 2000. I've only seen 2 playoff appearances. Yeah, we made it in 2001, but I was 1 year old. I wasn't even 1 year old. I was almost 1 year old when we made the playoffs in 2001, Dan Marino's last season. I did not get to experience that. I got to experience us losing in the first round to the Ravens. I got to experience us losing in the first round to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what I've seen as a Dolphins fan so far. But this team feels different. This team gives you hope, and the offense, which was complete opposite this time last year. The offense was the issue of the team. We were going on a little bit of a winning streak, but we were barely edging out over teams like the Texans, over the Saints, who weren't competing with anybody on a big scale in the league up to that point. And you flip it over to this year, and the offense is on fire. Like I said, I've been very critical of Tua. While still giving him praise and still giving him the benefit of the doubt in a lot of situations. Last season, he did not get the ball out quick enough with that bad offensive line. Now, you all say the offensive line is to blame for that, and the lack of weapons around him. He doesn't feel confident throwing the ball to him. But we got to be honest about Tua. He was not playing well up until this season. Now, you give him Teron Armstead, you give him Tyreek Hill, and what have we seen? We've seen one of the best offenses in football. You see MVP caliber quarterback, and you see also potential coach of the year in Mike McDaniel. What this offense has done, how Mike McDaniel has revolutionized his team, is tasty. It's sexy. I love it. I love going to games, even though they've been giving me a heart attack, because we got these games against the Bears, against the Lions, teams where I'm looking at, I'm like, we should beat these teams by at least 10 points. And it comes down to the last possession, comes down to a couple plays, and things go a little differently. If plays go a little differently, if penalty calls go a little differently, maybe we lose a couple of those games. But it does stand true. We are 7-3 right now, coming away from the bye week, going into Houston. Houston's coming down here as you look on the screen. We got the Houston Texans this week. Obviously that is a game we should be winning. That's not even a question. The Browns game last week destroyed the Browns. I expect a very similar nature here. This is a team we should be beating by at least 3 scores. The Houston Texans against Washington on Sunday. Davis Mills, he's a very limited quarterback. The improvements we've added, bringing in Bradley Chubb on the defensive line, even though he didn't register a full sack when it was his debut game in Miami against the Browns, the pressure he brought getting to the quarterback, it was very reminiscent of what we've seen all season long from our edge rushers. We're getting to the quarterback, we're getting pressure, but we're not quite finishing. Christian Wilkins had his best game of the season, was involved on at least 3 sacks in that game against Cleveland. So if we can pressure Davis Mills, make him make a few mistakes, I expect us to easily dominate. But that's the easy game. That's the game that we don't really have to worry about. You expect the Miami Dolphins to defeat the Houston Texans handily after the bye week. Then things get a little tricky. Then it's a little bit of a 3-game road streak and very good opponents. 3 teams that coming into the season were all favored to make the playoffs, all, depending on who you talk to, favored to win their divisions. And for the San Francisco 49ers, this isn't going to be a preview, but this is a team that is built pretty much exactly the same as the Miami Dolphins are. Mike McDaniel, of course, coming over from the San Francisco 49ers. They know each other very well. If Tua was on the San Francisco 49ers, I think the 49ers are the best team in the league because Tua is the quarterback that Kyle Shanahan has been searching for his whole career for. Somebody who can distribute the ball to their playmakers. He has that in Garoppolo, just not as good as Tua. Tua being MVP caliber. Garoppolo week in, week out. Who knows what you're going to get from him. So that's going to be a very difficult game. Then you move on to the Chargers, who lost to the Chiefs, who've been very beat up all season long, however, are getting healthy. We'll see what happens with Mike Williams in injury designation. And then going back to Buffalo. We haven't beat the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo in at least 5 years, maybe even longer than that. We haven't beat them since Josh Allen was quarterback there, if I'm not mistaken. We've gotten embarrassed there quite a few times. 2 years ago, last game of the season, we had the first wild card spot. We had the 5 seed. All we had to do was win or have one other team lose. We all know what happened there. But this year, week 3, I was there. My heart was pounding. Seeing the Miami Dolphins clutch out the victory over the Buffalo Bills gave us some hope. We were 3-0 at the time. Tua was on fire. His head was also on fire, unfortunately. But the Dolphins were on fire that week. And obviously the previous week against the Ravens, coming back like they did, coming down from 21-plus points twice. The team, there was such a good feeling around the team. Then that 3-game losing streak, Tua's out. Now we're going into Buffalo. Who knows what the weather's going to be like. We saw that snow out where they had to move the game to Detroit. You hope that isn't the case because, yes, Tua has played great. Tua has done a lot better in the deep ball. But we know he doesn't have the strongest arm in the NFL. We know he has one of the weaker arms in the NFL. So that is a game of concern when you go up there. You have no idea what type of conditions you're going to battle. And then on Christmas, the Green Bay Packers, the laughingstock of the NFL over on my channel, JK Productions. I've been making fun of the Packers all year long, and it's been very fun to make fun of Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. So if you're interested in that, please, again, click on my channel and go look at that. I do expect us to handle that on Christmas Day, and then finishing out with 2 division games, the Patriots and the Jets. Realistically there, I see probably 2 losses Unfortunately, probably taking the loss against Buffalo, and then one of the 49ers, the Chargers. I don't expect us to lose to the Packers, the Patriots, or the Jets. So that's looking like 2 losses there. Maybe we win it out. Maybe. Gotta be a little optimistic. But if you go over and look at what the Buffalo Bills have, it leads me to believe that they're going to end up as the champions of the AFC East, but let's pretend they're not going to. They go on the road to Detroit, Thanksgiving matchup, and Detroit, if their offense is clicking, they can beat anybody. I'm just saying. Patriots, Jets, and then that game, Miami Dolphins. They got 3 division games in a row. Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. I mean, hopefully he can run all over them. The Bengals and the Patriots. They've gone through most of their difficult games. Their 2 hardest games from this point out, of course, being us, the Miami Dolphins, and the Cincinnati Bengals. I really want to say that I think we're going to win the division. As things stand, we have the tiebreaker. We're in first place in the AFC East. I want to say we're going to do it. If I'm being honest, I think we're going to fall just short. I don't have a worry about us missing the playoffs, but winning the AFC East, I just don't have the guts just to go that far and say I think we're going to win it. But it's definitely winnable. You're in a position right now where if things play out right, if you win the rest of your games, that's all you have to do. All you have to do is win. You don't have to, this team needs to lose, this needs to happen, this tiebreak. No, all you got to do is win. So it is most certainly doable. We can definitely win the division, and obviously I would love to see that. Love to see that for the Miami Dolphins. Love to see Miami Dolphins get a home playoff game in this beautiful stadium here. Beautiful stadium here. I brought my future brother-in-law, I guess is a good way to put it, to the Dolphins game. What was it? Yeah, it was against the Browns. It was last week. And, I mean, he was fascinated by the stadium. Everybody that I've brought to the stadium for the first time loves this stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. Maybe I'm kind of projecting my own thoughts because I absolutely love Hard Rock. Like, it is a beautiful stadium. Dolphins fans who have never been, I would encourage you to find a way to get to a Miami Dolphins game because this stadium on the outside is so aesthetically pleasing. And then you get inside, the aqua seats is beautiful. I would love to see a playoff game in Hard Rock Stadium when it comes to January. And all we got to do is win. What did Mark Davis say? All you got to do is win, baby. Something like that. Maybe I butchered that. I don't know. But please, let me know down in the comments below. Do you think the Miami Dolphins can win this division, win the AFC East for the first time in God knows how long? 2009? Yeah. 2009, last time we did it. Please make sure to subscribe and like, as this is our first video, so I'm sure this is going to be getting out to a lot of people. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you can expect Miami Dolphins content on the regular. For myself, Jacob, for my friend Donovan, this is Miami Dolphins Syndicate. Thank you very much for watching today. Hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Take care, everybody.